Okay, I'm ready to go here. So, thank you to all the new subscribers of late and people liking my videos. Thank you very much. Helps a lot. And I wanted to start these live stream sessions with some discussion of theory. Now, I am learning, in the process of learning myself. But, so I'm not an expert, okay? Like, you can find videos of masters and grandmasters discussing theory. But what I'm going to provide here is partly useful notes for myself to come back to, but also, well, I think a bit of discussion of the theory is in order before we jump into a series of tournaments that are focused on a specific opening. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, Lichess does a bunch of tournaments on an opening in a row. First is Bullet. I usually skip over that, and so right now there's the Super Blitz, which is 3 minutes, and the next tournament, also for an hour, is typically either 3-2 or 5 minutes, and then you have a 2-hour tournament of rapid 10-minute games, or games with 10 minutes. Okay, so and part of the idea here is I think that playing both from the white, if you want to learn an opening, I think it's ideal, it's best to play from both sides. Now, I don't do that with everything because sometimes certain lines are just not as good, so you don't really feel like playing them. That's all understandable. Now, so knight c3 here is not that common. And they were saying, where was that? It was written here, popularity, it used to be less than 1% of games. And now it peaked at about 2%. And I think Gotham Chess is a huge fan of the Vienna game, so he's made videos about it. And that might be why. Okay, so let's jump into it a bit. So it's not that common. These other options, the Italian, and just, or rather, this is the bishop opening, but knight f3, much more popular. And these first two options are scoring better. Now, some of the bishop's opening lines actually transpose with the Vienna a bit. But anyway, knight c3 is the Vienna. And so some people will argue that this is not the most active way. You are sort of preemptively defending your pawn, which is not attacked. You're not attacking anything, etc., etc. But I think why a lot of people like this is a lot less people know the theory, for one thing, and there's a lot of it is quite sharp. So there's some rich theory with this opening, and still white with an advantage for sure. Computer says advantage. And okay, so a lot of the moves that we're looking for are this, which would be typically, that's the Vienna Gambit. Bishop comes out to here, or knight here. These are the very common moves. Of course, it's black's turn. So most popular, knight f6, and we can go into that's more sort of mainline stuff. And here we can do the Vienna Gambit, which f4 says 20%. So Vienna Gambit. So I'd like to talk about that a bit. But so these are kind of main lines. So what else can happen? Knight c6 is called the max. I don't know how to pronounce it. Max Max Lange? I don't know. Now, I was playing this in the last Vienna tournament that I played on this channel, and it was a few days ago. And what I found was that a lot of players would just play knight f3, and now we have a 4 knights opening, and I mean, this is roughly equal, and a lot of people are playing this. And I think, knight takes e4 here. Look at the score for black. So I'm always happy when they're doing this. And in case that looks weird to you, after takes e4, knight takes e4, and we play d5, and so we're forking, so we gain the piece back. But I would say white's not completely lost. Here it's not so good, but we'll see this kind of pattern. Whenever you see the knight and bishop kind of lined up like this, you might want to think about this kind of pattern. It's in a lot of openings. One of the variations, it's sort of one of the lines in the variation is called, what was it? The Frankenstein and something. What's similar to Frankenstein? Frankenstein and I forget. Maybe we'll see it here. But there's a line like that. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, so we might transpose to this. There's the Scotch variation of the Four Knights game, which I think is interesting. And there's the Spanish variation, and a bunch of theory. But it's generally considered to be fairly equal. But I'm often just running into this, and I get to do this, so I'm happy. And for that reason, I was often playing this. I mean, already here, boom, I'm in the, very natural move, and boom. I don't think this is what white expected or wanted. Probably in the Vienna Game tournament, they wanted to play the Vienna Game, and, boom, we're playing the Four Knights game. I don't think that's what they wanted. So, here, so this max longe defense, that is the third most popular move. There's this sort of aggressive f4. I think you might usually see this, but I'm not going to pretend to know all the lines. Hanging Pawns, the YouTube channel has a Vienna Game series, and one of them is dedicated to this. Now, there's a lot of transpositions. So with bishop c4, you have a lot of different transpositions into other variations in the Vienna Game. So it's a little complicated there. And so I kind of discovered that in the last tournament I played, and was just getting a lot of Four Knights games and felt kind of comfortable. I was starting to learn some of the Scotch variation, which is quite interesting. You can see it's scoring pretty equal here. So, okay. So that's that line. What I can say about it so far. There's a lot more theory there, I guess, but and we have another line is after this. There's g3, so this is more mainline. So we also have a bishop c5 here, which is the Anderson defense, and so I think this is transposing to a lot of different things potentially, back into other Vienna Game stuff. And Hanging Pawns thinks that this move should be punished. Bishop c5, I don't know. They seem to have an aggressive opinion about it. They're not always right. They give very detailed analyses, but it's not like Grandmaster level, Hanging Pawn stuff. So I don't know how deep I want to get into it, but I just want to mention at least some of the main variations. So we talked about these two. There's also d6, which there are two Hanging Pawns, kind of things should be punished. It's sort of passive. But then, so what's remaining here really is the mainline stuff. And there's this g3, which is the Mises variation. In the last tournament, I was thinking that this was sort of like going for like a King's attack kind of positions. Or sorry, King's Indian attack kind of positions, which might be true in some lines. I think that makes sense, but there's other theory here. You put the bishop here, and in some lines, I think you can open up the center, and it can be a little bit aggressive. But I didn't really study that too much, because I got to focus on some stuff. And we have, let's see, f4, bishop c4. Right, f4 is the Vienna Gambit. What was knight f3 here? This could, again, go... you're risking going into the 4 knights variation, so I'm not going to be looking to do that. One of the key points of the Vienna game is that you can kind of maybe get in c4 and, or sorry, f4, and it can work as a, I mean here, right? This is the main line of the Vienna Gambit. The difference between this and the King's Gambit is that the knight is already here, and this knight is already here. So there are no lines of the queen coming here immediately. So it's sort of an improved King's Gambit. And other variations will transpose to these kinds of improved King's Gambit lines. Also, the Vienna game in the last tournament, it was transposing into a lot of different things that a bunch of other openings. I mean, like I said, the Scotch variation of the, so we're getting kind of like Scotch-like positions. Some of the positions feel like the Philidor defense when the pawn's here on d6. And what was some of the other stuff? You might even get, I think you can get like Scandinavian type positions. And yeah, so I think the Vienna game is more of a intermediate level opening. It's not really a beginner's opening. There's some complexity. Of course, every opening has complexity. But I'm finding that it's transposing into other openings, and it's good to know, to be able to identify, okay, we're in a Scandinavian, you know, and or wow, this is basically a King's Gambit. It can actually transpose into actual King's Gambit lines, although that's less common. So anyway, so there is the Gambit. And do I want to talk about this bishop c4? This one was mentioned with the hanging pawns video. This one, bishop c4, yeah, the Stanley variation, yeah. I didn't study it too much because I'm not planning on doing it. Actually, I think, yeah, but I remember for black, we can do a knight takes e4 here. And you can see it's 1% better for black. Now there's this tricky, queen h5 is actually tricky here. Yeah, so I you know, if I had more time, I would have studied in more depth. But here we see that this is the Frankenstein Dracula variation of this, well, it starts with the Stanley variation, but when you take here, it's now called the Frankenstein Dracula variation. Very interesting name. Now, you can see here that taking is not working well, and I think you'll run into that most of the time. So there's this queen h5 line, and actually I prefer this with white, not with black. And you have to come back here, because if you come back here, you're getting checkmated. So you want to defend this. Turns out that G6 runs into a lot of problems. After takes. Okay. So Hanging Pawns talks about that. They can't play G6, which is a natural looking move, I think, but it runs into this. So it's complicated. Bishop d6. Simply move the bishop back because the knight was threatening it. We've got bishop e7, knight c6. Yeah, hopefully we'll get this in a game at some point. I remember looking at the line and I prefer it for white. However, we can play it from the black side as well. Okay, and so that's the Stanley variation. I think that's an interesting direction. I won't be playing it today with white. And I won't be playing the Mises, I don't think, unless I'm in the mood. And then of course we have the Vienna Gambit. And so I think this is the main reason that this is interesting for, let's say, beginners to intermediate players. So f4 for masters and grandmasters, you know, white is giving up their advantage, 30% to 31% here. So at the top level, not so much. But the thing is, the venom here is that black really only has this one move, d5. And if they want to survive, more or less. D6 is playable, I guess, but both Hanging Pawns talks about what to do here, and as well as Gotham Chess. But d5 is really the only good move, and takes runs into all kinds of problems. So the thing is, usually when grandmasters and so on talk about gambits, they say, well, if you don't know the theory, usually you just accept the gambit, right? Somebody gives you a pawn, you accept it. So I think a lot of people would do that. We play e5 here, and look, there's only one game. And the problem is that this knight has nowhere good to go. Here it gets taken, so it just has to go back. And also, if black tries to defend here, we take the pawn, takes here, they move back, and then same problem again for this knight. It has nowhere good to go except back. And so actually, black is probably just losing in these lines. So they got to play this to stay in the game, basically. And I think that's super sharp. So that's a strong weapon at a amateur level. So now how does play proceed from here? Usually with takes e5, f takes e5, and knight takes e4, and then there's a few different lines here. So Gotham Chess was recommending queen f3, and I think also Hanging Pawns also. This d3 line is trappy. However, a good player will simply take, and you can see 37% after a few moves. It's actually this d4 move is trouble for white a bit. And I don't think this is a very good position for white. Doubled pawns. What do they really have here? So, but the idea of this move, I think, for most people, is probably at our level that you want to. There's a lot of traps if they go queen h4, and this is a very tempting move, right? Checks, and we see this pattern a lot. Block here, and it looks like black is going to win this rook because you can't take here. And so that's the trap, because there's a problem here. If I remember it correctly, well, we have knight f3, and so the queen cannot come back here or go here. They want to keep this pin on the pawn, or else we take the knight. So they have to go here. Then we go knight takes d5 here, and now we're threatening to fork the king and rook. And so what I think what black should do is, well, people like Gotham were saying black should take the rook here, and then we both took a rook, and now there's a game of chess to be played. So it's pretty equal according to the engine, and there are some games here. However, there's all kinds of other moves that will run into trouble in this position. If black tries to defend here, you can see +4, because here we hit the queen. Let's see, they try to hang on like this, and we come here. And now we're hitting the queen, and we're going to take this knight. So we're winning a piece here, I think. Another attempt to make a move here is here, and it's the same exact plan. So yeah, they want to do this for equality. So it's pretty sharp. So that's sort of the trappy idea with d3. And then we have, what else do we have here? So knight f3 is sort of the main line. Let's just see what kind of position we get with the main most popular moves here. Thing is that at a high level, white is sort of giving up their advantage. You can see black is doing better here. And the engine says roughly equal. So, yeah, maybe not so great. White is kind of giving up the advantage. And that's kind of the way it goes. Now, so Gotham chess recommended queen f3, and I think there's a lot of lines and complexity in here. But one of the lines, let's see if we can get it. And this queen h4 check is often played, and the idea is to exchange queens. Now, I was looking at this, and I wasn't too thrilled about exchanging queens with white. Gotham says you can do this crazy move, and I forget what they said. They had some idea from here. So check Gotham if you're interested in that. Of course, the computer says no. But actually, I'm impressed. White is scoring quite well here. It didn't seem that appealing to me to be trading the queens. I think this pawn is, well, both of these pawns are liabilities. But yeah, not much going on. White has doubled pawns. And so interesting that white is doing better here. So I could try that out. Anyway, lots of theory. That's basically what I have learned in my preparation today. So let's get into the tournament now. And there's another 1 hour tournament of 3-2 or 5 minutes right after this one. So I was kind of thinking, yeah, we'll get like 90 minutes of blitz in, and that should be fine. So yeah, I'm going to experiment with kind of sharing, because for these evening tournaments, for me it's the evening in Japan at this time, and I've been doing preparation in advance for these tournaments. So I thought I'd just share what I've learned on the live streams and see how that plays out. But then I over prepare and I'm just get my brain confused. Okay, so this is the Max Lange thing. I think this is wrong, but I'll do this. I forget what my plan was. I was playing this a lot as black before, and then I think I was getting into the Scotch variation of the 4 knights. So I just want to get a simple position, nothing too complicated. So next time I might try actually 4 knights, although it's not Vienna Game, and Scotch variation of the 4 knights. There's interesting theory to learn there. So I don't want to tie this bishop down because they'll take the pawn. So this bishop is busy. I have to kind of accept that they could screw up my pawn structure. Okay. Seems like a pretty solid position for me. Just get castled. But they might have some ideas messing up the pawn structure. I think they need to be... now they're preventing me from castling. That's a problem. However, at this point I think I can play d4. Now maybe they'll put a little more pressure on the pawn. I don't have this because I'm losing a defender on the d4 pawn. This should be fine. I have a space advantage here. Okay, they've come in on e4. I think I just want to get castled. It's a bit of a complicated position. I was thinking of takes and then knight up here, but doing that when I'm not castled and they can kick the knight seemed a bit risky. But here, let's try to get rid of some of these black pieces in my territory. I think this will be a liability to defend. But I think I missed that this pawn is probably falling now. I think I screwed that up. But let's see. I might get an attack as compensation, possibly. I think they do need to start with this. Ah, they take with check. That's the problem. Okay. So let's threaten checkmate, see if we can get something going. Got a lot of pieces pointing at their king side. Can even bring this rook over, possibly. Now I think if I had a rook here, then this is nice. I can open it up. But I think I'm happy sacking that knight. Yeah, they don't want to take it. This sort of chess is kind of fun. Huh? These weird, aggressive, super aggressive positions. Possibly I need to think about this. Fortunately, my rook is undefended if I open up in certain lines. Let's go. I want to do this. Not much time on either of our clocks. Good night moves. YOLO. Totally crazy position. Coming here. I don't have time to think. Screwed up. So we need a checkmate. Couldn't deliver. Seconds on the clock. That was a crazy game. If I'd been a little faster, I might have been okay. Okay. So they played this. Let's just stick to the same thing we just were up against. Okay, so hopefully... Let's see if they play here. I think it's kind of bad for them. Yeah. I don't think this is... Okay. So they took here. Now... So in past... I had this in the previous tournament. I was worried about this move. But here, apparently, I just go here. And I think this is correct. It feels a little weird putting the king here like this. But, you know, there's always ideas. Yeah, I do feel a little awkward, but this is what the computer says. Hey, what's up, Adolf? So that's interesting. Can script their pawn structure. I'll do it. It's dangerous, I know. Opening up the G file. Very dangerous. See if we can put pressure here. Got all kinds of attacking ideas. And if the bishop comes out, I have ideas here, although I have to exchange it first or push the pawn or something. Yeah, that'd be great. That would definitely help. Okay, so probably this is a good idea here. I don't think this is the opening that they wanted. I don't think they were expecting me to know that much theory. So do I go here? Takes. Or do I have something more? Perhaps this is more venomous. What can they move? Their bishop is stuck. Rook is stuck. This can't really move because this would fork. Afraid there's a huge freaking bug in here, I think. Cicada? Cicada? Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, that definitely helps. They're hoping I'll move here. I gotta remember, we're playing Blitz with no increment. I don't think this feels very good for them. I just don't have time. Protect the pawn. Dangerous pre-moves, but no time. Still losing on time, aren't I? Good W. Solid W. That game was intense. Count it. All right. Get back to the tournament. That was pretty good. Gotta get that rating up. All right. So we've been playing this. Let's learn more about this stuff. It's really Four Knights game. Okay, we got Spanish variation of the Four Knights game. Now, this I don't know too well. Probably standard Ruy Lopez kind of stuff, except their knight is misplaced for Ruy Lopez. I do take this way, right? Yeah. Don't I have like this? I guess not. No, I don't think I do, because I think I screwed up. Because of the, yeah, in the Ruy Lopez, normally this knight's not here. So I'm mixing up the opening here. Not good. Let me know if you create an account. What kind of account? What are you talking about? Are you talking about Instagram? Let's make an annoying pin. I don't think my queen belongs here, I'll tell you that. I think I should keep my bishop pair. Yeah, that helps me. My pawns are much better now. I'm threatening to take and then take, which they just stopped. No, I'm not gonna give that up. Isolated queen's pawn. Huh, you want me to become famous? Well, thank you. So, let's get a rook in there. This looks tempting. No, there's some huge bug somewhere. You can probably hear that on the live stream, huh? Let's just do this, see what happens. Only got a minute. I mean, I don't think I'm really... Oh, this just develops my rook a bit. Opens the file. It's kind of nice. Okay, they're hoping to do that. Now I gotta take with the queen. Here, let's just take this pawn. protecting the square. Whoopsies, huh? I gotta act fast. Okay, what happens now? They're getting into zugzwang, huh? The bishop stopping them from that square. Get to take the pawn. That's not gonna... that endgame is losing for them. All right, got it. So I've won... oh, I felt like I've won all my games, but I guess I lost the first one. I've never thought of streaming on Instagram. I don't know. Maybe TikTok is bigger, but... okay, everyone's... we're all playing the same way here today. But I want to try Scotch variation. If... oh. This one... what is this? This has to be bad, right? What is this line? It doesn't have to be bad. There might be something there. It's got to have some name, this Gambit. It's almost like we're playing Vienna with the colors reversed. A Vienna Gambit. You want me to play the Gambit? I'll try to get the Gambit then. I'll try to get the Gambit. Alright. This can't be that bad, can it? I got a castle. This was a risk. So I'm up a pawn, but this was pretty sharp, I feel. And their pawn structure is really bad. It feels dumb because they win a pawn back. I don't know. Positionally, I think I like it. I wish I could put this here. Now I can do it. Now they can... we have this, but they just... it's protected. Hitting the queen. They might try this craziness. But I take with check, so that doesn't work. Now this looks a little scary, maybe. Fucking insect, no. Ah! Ah, it's a huge fucking cicada. Get the fuck out of here, you fucker. Ah. It's coming at me. Cicadas are so dumb, they just fly into you. Hold on, I'm gonna try to kill it. Oh shit, I have 20 seconds on the clock. Fuck. This doesn't work. This doesn't work, but I have no time. It just has to... It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, but I have 8 seconds. I don't know what... My brain can't function right now. Okay, this doesn't count. Freaking cicada. You know... Hold on. I think you know the insect. Because here in Japan we have them a lot. This thing. Alright, you want me to go for the main lines. Maybe a Gambit. So that's it. This one is... What was this called? I forget. But I think this transposes into other openings sometimes. But we can play this way. And was this the Frankenstein Dracula variation? This might be called the Frankenstein Dracula variation. Yeah, we get these in Japan. You're from India. You must have them, right? Are you from India? This looks so scary, but gotta learn the theory. I mean, it flew right at me several times. The thing is, they're so dumb. They don't have... They only live for like 2 weeks. And so... But they're born like this big. And they have no survival instinct. You can just go up and just touch them or grab them. Yeah, it flew at me several times. And it's still in the room with me. It's not dead yet. Ah! Jesus! Ah, fuck! It's on my keyboard. Fucking... God damn it. Oh, that was so big. Fuck. I gotta make it move. Get away, you fucker. God damn it. Ah, it's gonna move. Ah, get away. No. Ah. Whoa. Ah. Lena? Semiga. For a live stream on me. Oh my god. Fuck! Ah! Alright, I don't know where it is, but they usually start moving again after like 20 seconds. Ah! Fuck. Okay. Good tournament, huh? Where the fuck is it? It's just gonna keep happening until I kill it. Where the hell is it? I gave it a whack, but it was like on the cord of a lamp. It was like suspended. Fuck. Well, it's in the house, you know, like this is not going to resolve itself until I kill it. This person's going to think I just gave up on the game. So, what happened here? I'm winning. I thought it was good. Well, I probably made a mistake somewhere, but knight takes e4, 29%, 1% edge for black. This doesn't work. They have to do the queen h5 line. I talked about this at the beginning of the live stream. This is called the Frankenstein Dracula variation. What a cool name. So takes d5, correct. I played the computer move. I mean, everything I did was perfect, I think. And I was about to do this when I was attacked by an insect. Yeah. You don't want me to kill him. What am I going to do? How is this going to resolve itself? Alright. Next tournament. For those just tuning in, there's a cicada attacking me. This thing is inside my room here. Here in Japan. In Japan, Japanese these are called semi, but in English, cicada. So, but we got the tournament starting in a minute. But this thing is still in the room somewhere. It's like, this one's just like black. Disgusting. People actually eat these in some countries, I think. Sorry. Sorry, I was too loud. Ah! It's right next to me! Shit! This whole time it's just been chilling right next to my foot. Fuck. It's just chilling. So that's how dumb they are. They're like right next to you. It's not that small. It's like, you know. Fuck. What am I gonna do? Hold on. Because I would smash it, but it's next to a bunch of things. It's next to a bunch of, like, glasses and stuff. So, try to move some things. Alright, I've got this book, Representation Theory of Finite Monoids. This is a rare book. I think this is expensive. Do I have something cheaper? Hold on. Metric spaces. Fuck! I don't know. I didn't kill it. Ah! Ah! Alright, this time's elementary number theory. Oh, it's under the chair. It's gonna be hard to hit it. I must be doing damage to this guy. Where is he? Where is he? I don't know where he is. Ah! Ah! Fuck! Ah! You're dead now. Son of a bitch. Hit it with some N1 Nihongo textbook. Oh, he's done. No, they don't bite. But he's dead. Okay, thank goodness. Whew. I hope he didn't jump into my glass. I don't think he did. No, he's dead. We got this. But it's kind of disturbing that something that large can sneak into this room. They're not small, you know. Oh, these are small ones. That's not a cicada. That's a what? Oh, it says cicada killer. It's more like this size, I'd say. This is like the size, and actually, it look pretty much just like that. All right, here we go. All right, we'll try mainline stuff. There's more. You're right. Were you able to hear it when it was here? See, like we're always playing this 4 nights. I think every game I've had has been 4 nights. Here, we can go here. This is a mistake, pretty much. Okay, so this is a Scotch variation. So this is actually very interesting. But I think it's roughly equal, which is, you know, not so great for white, but I think the theory is interesting. Now here, I think this is a mistake in this line. Like, this is a normal Scotch move, but here, I think, if I remember correctly, it's a mistake. You want to go here, I think. Maybe. Now I have a threat. Which way do I take? I want to keep the queens on the board. I think... I'm not sure which way is better, but... Get castled. Nothing too complicated. Hello, monkey. How are you? So, I could mess up their pawn structure. Those are some very ugly pawns in that case, but they have the bishop pair. And most players this rating don't play like super aggressive. I'm fine, dude. How are you? I'm glad to see the new channel in my recommendations. Cool. Yeah, YouTube puts its heart here, so I can't see my recommendations. Yeah. Nice. And I can't... It has a heart there, and I can't actually do it. I have to log in or something. Good, I'm glad. I'm glad. Which opening is good for black? What kind of level are you at? Because the answer kind of depends on your level. I think this pawn was a bit of a liability for me. I don't think it was going to conquer the world just yet. I don't know. Probably a better player would keep it as a good passed pawn, but I got to protect my pawn there. Maybe, I don't know. I got to not spend too much time. This trade favors me because it gets my pawn structure back intact. Gotta protect the pawn. I gotta worry about the rook coming here. It's possibly rook here. I thought they were gonna do that, but they still might. Take this pawn. I have check. For 1,500 to 2,000. So, personally, I have a bit of a bias. Well, actually, my recommendation is the same as Magnus Carlsen, which I found out after. I'm still worried about this rook coming in. Give me a second, because I don't have much time here on the clock. I gotta be careful. Up a pawn. Not too sure. Oh, I could have. But are they in trouble anyway? Okay. Now, I'm usually fine with this time control. Personally. Should maybe protect this a little more. I want to stop the king from getting out of his cave. Not sure what that does. I keep making dumb mistakes though. Now they're up a pawn. Low on time will do that to you, I guess. Probably a draw. Interesting. Here is a problem for me, probably. Yeah. I screwed up. Screwed up. So what I recommend is probably King's Indian positions, because you can. So the King's Indian defense and the King's Indian attack are subtly different. However, for our level, you can kind of play the same kind of setups. And now, a problem with the King's Indian defense is that you'll sometimes run into the Pirt's defense, and the difference between the Pirt's defense and the King's Indian defense is that in the King's Indian, White has their pawn on c4. They played d4, c4, and in the Pirt's, they haven't moved their pawn. Their knight is on c3. Which means that because they didn't move the pawn, they have an extra tempo for their plans. So the Pirt's defense is, it's really chosen, white chooses if it's a Pierce defense or a King's Indian defense. So this is sort of like something more detailed that you learn later if you're new to it. But now I felt that way, and then because you can kind of play those positions almost no matter what your opponent does. And then Magnus Carlsen gave the same advice to people starting out. So you know, I say if he says it, it can't be too bad. But you learn through King's Indian defense, you learn how to attack aggressively on the king's side in some very interesting ways. So having played it for multiple years, I learned quite a lot of ideas. And I can tend to force the ideas sometimes too much, maybe. Be a little too aggressive, but it's fun anyway. I don't know, this game was really back and forth. I'll have to analyze it another time. I hope there's no bad words in this Gambit. I don't know this this Gambit I think is that they're talking about is an inside joke or a meme or something, I think. Rook to c2, pin the king. I probably missed some tactics. So, Vienna game, and I'm tempted to blitz. Let's blitz. Or berserk or whatever. Now I have no increment. But they're probably not going to... Okay, here we go. Okay, so this one is just a bit passive. I don't know. Let's go for like a... I actually don't know what my plan is. And I think this is bad. We get like... it's basically King's Gambit positions. But here we go. Now they've blocked their own queen from coming in here, so I'm a bit less worried about it. Everything. I should have actually moved the bishop out. Would have been better, I think. Now I could go for a little more space. Let's just do that. I think they're castling here, and I'm gonna be super aggressive on the king's side. I don't like the knight coming in there. It's not a meme, but it's... Well, I don't know it. Oh, are they castling queenside? They're a bit worried. Maybe. Now, I'm a little reckless castling if I castle kingside. But let's just do it. Only a minute and 12 seconds to think for me. They have an increment as well. It's such a huge advantage. Just hoping that I will outplay them. But their plan should be really easy, you know, just push these pawns up the board. But we'll see, maybe I'll win on time. Okay, this is annoying. I'm gonna actually castle queenside now, just because I don't like... Well, I still allowed the fork, so that's a mistake. But at least it's just the exchange, it's not a big deal. I might try to do this. They can do this trappy thing, but it'll destroy their their queen side. It's weird calling it the queen side when the king's over there, but whatever. They take a long time. Okay, they see the threat. Well, I haven't even done it yet, and they see the threat. Okay. Just trying to not take too much time for my moves. It's a good move. I really shouldn't be trading pieces, but not exactly going to attack over here. Seems a little crazy. Still could, but my main weapon is that they just take too long to move. That's what I'm banking on here. Interesting. Take here first. Now I have a target. They can take this pawn, but I don't think they'll... If they do this, I'm not too worried. This is very weakening. Though I would do the same thing. And knights are real tricky in blitz, so we can just dance around with a knight. Cause all kinds of chaos. Yeah, they just take too long. That's kind of a silly game. It is blitz. All right. So we do the Frankenstein Dracula variation of the Vienna game. Now they've played this very interesting move, so I think they played it right away, so I think they know theory. I am supposed to play here. Defending. They move back, that's correct. And after that I kind of forget. Thinking here. Knight coming in here would be annoying. I'm just going to stop the knight from coming in. I'm sure this is a mistake. Oh, yeah, it's a mistake because this pawn is hanging. Well. Still win they were just winning a pawn back. It's not losing a pawn. They're bringing in their bishop. Okay. But possibly I just go here. Then maybe they come here though. That doesn't look fun. Okay, if I were them, I would have brought this bishop in. That looked scary to me. It's a scary line, but I am up 2 points. So I survived so far. They've got 39 seconds. I want to get this up here. Just winning time. They're losing because they don't have the increment, so... It's a lot of pressure on this pawn. But this is not happening, so it's okay. So I'm threatening, not really threatening, because queen just takes. I'm just wasting their time. Just wasting time. Okay. Solid W. I've won most of the games today. Not too bad. I'm gonna look up this Gambit that you're talking about. Matthew chain to milk. I don't see anything for that. Good old 4 nights. I've played way more 4 nights today than Vienna. Scotch variation. I forgot to check the analysis last time. That's just got to be wrong. For some reason, I didn't even see this. Silly me. What a silly position. I mean, they can double check. That's interesting. Isn't this just losing for them? Well, they gotta move the king. They can't take here. So I take... I don't have this for checkmate because of the bishop here. Still probably losing for them, I think. Maybe here. Bishop probably blocks. Then I don't see... I have this check I can give. Can also give that now. But I think I want to get my king and my queen involved first. How about let's play when it becomes the rapid time control. It's the most ridiculous. It's like a scholastic tournament position, I guess. Take here with check, assuming that they take here. They just move. So I got all kinds of threats on my king, huh? Do I have any checks? My only check is here, which I'm not doing. So I have to play defense now? I'm probably fine just taking here. I mean, this is a problem. It's crazy, but I'm taking here. And then they can take the knight. I'm up 1 point. I'm up 1 point. Yeah, but after this tournament, because if it's blitz, I should really focus on one game at a time, I think. Once it's rapid, in 30 minutes, then we can do that if you want to. So how am I going to get my rooks in there? Now this looks brilliant, because if I hadn't done this, queen takes, threatening, takes with check. Haha. But I don't know, they might have some crazy way to get out of this. Maybe not. Yeah, we'll take this way. +3. They can take the pawn. Protecting. They need to figure out how to get this rook out. There they go. Blocking the queen's squares. Threatening the pawn. Again, I can fork. This time they have this check, though. Just gotta try to move a little faster. Or a lot faster. I have a fork, but I don't have time. They're taking this pawn, if they're paying attention. Good job, good job. Knights are tricky. Oh no. Disaster. Oh god. Yeah. Failed under time control. So Scotch variation takes bishop b4 is the main line. Bishop c5. I looked at this before, but I think there's... Huh. Can try bishop c5. I'm not sure why I was discarding it. I'll try that next time. Oh, there were a lot of blunders in that one. Hello, Umami friends. Welcome. A whole Vienna tourney. That's great. Me too. You like Japan, I guess? I am, I love umasa. I guess in English you say, well, umami. Umasa? Maybe it's wrong. I'm gonna check that right now. Umami is normal, right? Can you also say umasa? Umasa. No. Umasa is a word, Japanese word that I just made up. So, this max something in line. We'll go for the 4 knights because I've been studying it so much. I don't think you can play this here. Now this is a line. I think it's good for white. Get the bishop out. And want to do this. It's not as good now. Pinning is also an idea. I just push it away though. And unfortunately, this is only a viable square. Putting the bishop here, they get to add a lot of pressure. Let's just go for it. Okay, maybe it wasn't that smart. This is actually hanging because of the pin. Don't see that I can really do much about it. I can try this move. Unfortunately, they can take here and kind of force an exchange if they want to, though. But I'm just hoping they'll go here and I can take here. Gotta set a trap. That's the only way they're gonna fall for one. You gotta set it. Yeah, they're smart. We can pretend everything's fine and go here. I'm threatening here, and then it's winning a pawn, I guess. But, yeah, I was expecting that. Probably should just move back here. Nothing fancy. This rook is doing fantastic. Try to get tricky with the knight. Now we do our thing. It's not only a pawn, but it's I like it positionally. Now we're even again. Good, good. But might have a problem here. Fortunately, I think I have to defend. Yeah. Because I don't want this happening. Got a nice passed pawn. Might want to just get my king out. Get the rook out. Yeah, they have kind of a good position, not gonna lie. Probably losing. Ouch. Ouch. Okay, we have a few games to analyze as well. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, this one was crazy. But, yeah, this was a mistake. I kind of knew that. Knight f3 is what I've been playing. g3, bishop c4. So what happens after bishop c4 here? I gotta watch Max Lange, the video from Hanging Pawns. I was thinking that I like this for black, and I wasn't really thinking about what to do with white. But I mean, g3 could be bishop c4. I gotta check those. I gotta learn them. Note to self. And exactly this kind of thing. But this is bad for white. 44% for black. So there's really only d3 here. Not many people are playing that, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah. This is I think I studied this line. It's not fun for white because they're gonna give up the bishop. That's not fun. That's not what you want for white. This is not how you want to play with white. So I guess it's down to g3. g3, bishop c5. Now here, yeah, knight takes e5 is correct. And d4. Knight g6. I didn't need to do that. What does the computer say? Get the bishop out. Bishop e2. And what does it think of bishop c4? That's playable too. So ideally we'd get the rook out. That was a big problem in that game. Now I'm curious, so let's say I move here. What do we do to this? We don't like that. Just move back. Yep, just move back. Just 11 more minutes on this tournament. So, we were looking at these lines. Max Lange. I mean, they're doing okay, but I don't know. I don't really know this Spanish variation too well. Actually, I should have taken with the knight. Whatever. I haven't castled yet, so we can... I like to do this when I haven't castled yet. Now I'll castle. That's exactly what I want to stimulate. And probably want to develop the knight. Knight is, pawn is hanging. That's an important pawn as well. Can then play f5. Threatening this if my knight weren't hanging. So do I go here? Let's go this way, I guess. I think they're going to try to trade off the knight. And do I throw this in there? Let's see what happens. I'm curious. Ideas of coming here, maybe moving the king over, getting the rook lined up there, maybe. But, yeah, I don't think the queen belongs on the square. I do not think so. Oopsie daisies. Alright. So actually, I don't really know the theory for the Spanish variation of the 4 knights game. So I played d6, not too popular. Bishop b4, so kind of copycat style. Or knight d4 is a move. I gotta watch some videos on that. I do not really understand it. Give it a star. and we'll get back to the tournament. Let's go berserk. It's kind of similar to a Ruy Lopez. A little bit. Wow, I did not expect that. I can push these pawns with tempo, at least this one. Here too, because they gotta go back. More tempo. I would not have castled queenside if I were them. Let's go this way. Now do we bring the queen in, maybe? That is the threat right there. Let's go a little crazy. I don't have much time to think. Then we want to bring in the other rook. But I think they should be able to escape okay. But I went berserk, so I gotta go with my ideas. Not too much time to think. Why didn't I do this earlier, huh? It's probably worth some preparation, maybe, but whatever. Fortunately, I have no increment, so I'm probably going to lose. It's all good fun, though. Just falling apart. Probably shouldn't have berserked. But it was fun that way. Basically a Philidor defense, no? Yeah. Great king safety here. Those pawns. Giving this up, but intentionally. Go retrade. Threatening checkmate. Am I? Yeah, I think so. It's also checkmate. Bishop c4 doing better. Bishop c4 doing better. Okay, I'm going to take a break, and when I join the next tournament in like 5 minutes, I will make a new stream. Okay, so see you then. I'm going to take a 5-minute break.